Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself doing something simple, maybe walking to the store without thinking twice, remembering the name of an old friend you haven't seen in decades, or waking up each morning ready to take on the day, and thought, I guess I'm doing all right for my age? Well, what if I told you that those everyday things, those small, almost unnoticed moments, could actually be powerful clues? Clues that you're not just getting by, but thriving. And maybe, just maybe, you're on a path that only a rare few will ever walk. If you're between 65 and 80 years old, and you can still do certain things most people overlook, then you might be destined to live to 100. I mean that. Not because of magic. Not because of luck. But because your body, and your mind, are quietly showing signs of something truly incredible: strength, resilience, and a deep kind of wellness that defies the odds. Now, I know what you're thinking, me? Live to 100? That's a long way off. But here's the thing, living a long life isn't about perfection. It's about momentum. It's about holding on to the right habits, the right mindset, and the right signals that your health is still working for you, not against you. And here's the part no one talks about. A lot of people miss the signs. They think aging is only about slowing down. About losing things. But what if the opposite is true? What if the things you still do, the ones you maybe even take for granted, are actually your body's way of saying, you're doing great. Keep going. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful signs that you're not just aging well. You're aging exceptionally. And by the end, you'll be able to spot these same signs in yourself, or even in someone you love. Maybe a partner, a parent, or a dear old friend who still seems to have that same spark they've always had. These are the kinds of insights that can change the way you think about aging entirely. They might even change the way you live the next 20, or 30, or even 40 years. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. If you're proud of how far you've come in life, if you've got a little pep in your step, or just a stubborn spirit that refuses to slow down, type "still going strong" in the comments below. Let's see how many of us are out there, still pushing forward. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide for more uplifting, practical, and heartfelt health insights. You ready to see if you've got what it takes to reach 100? Let's find out. Let me paint you a picture. You wake up in the morning, stretch your arms, feel the sun peeking through the window, and without much thought, you slip on your shoes and go for a walk. Not a race. Not a marathon. Just a nice, steady walk around your neighborhood. Maybe a mile. Maybe a little more. Maybe less. Now here's what you might not realize. If you're between 65 and 80 and you can still walk a mile without needing to sit down, grab someone's arm, or hold on for dear life. That's not just a nice thing to be able to do. That is a huge, powerful sign that your body is still functioning at a remarkable level. Seriously, most people don't talk about this. But I'm going to tell you the truth today. Let me introduce you to Helen. She's 76 years old. Doesn't drive much anymore. Doesn't do anything fancy. But every morning, rain or shine, she puts on that old pair of sneakers and takes her little terrier, Sammy, out for a 1-mile walk. Same route. Same pace. Every day. And people see her, smile, wave, and think, oh, Helen's just one of those active old ladies. Good for her. But you know what I see? I see a woman whose heart is strong. Whose lungs are clear. Whose joints still carry her through the world. I see independence. I see balance. I see longevity. See, walking just 1 mile, especially at this stage in life, isn't just walking. It's your body saying, I've still got gas in the tank. Here's what science tells us: when you can walk a mile without help, you're showing strong cardiovascular health. Your heart is pumping the way it should. Your muscles still respond when they're needed. Your balance and reflexes are sharp enough to keep you steady. Your brain and body are still working as a team. And here's the thing most folks get wrong. They think slowing down is just part of aging. They say, well, of course Dad doesn't walk as much, he's getting old. Or, Mom's been using the walker lately, but that's normal, right? Yes, aging changes our bodies, but sudden loss of movement, or needing support to walk short distances, is often one of the first warning signs that something deeper is going on. It could be circulation. It could be weakness. It could be muscle loss, or worse, early signs of cognitive or neurological decline. That's why it matters. But here's the beautiful part. Even if you can't walk a mile right now, you can build your way back. Start small. 2 10-minute walks. Around the block. In your garden. Even inside your house if you have to. Because every step you take is like a deposit into your health bank account. And trust me, movement is life. You stop moving, you start rusting. You keep moving, and it's like oiling the hinges, keeping the body alive and ready. So next time you take that casual stroll, don't brush it off. Recognize it for what it is, a badge of health, a quiet victory, a whisper from your body saying, I'm still here. I'm still strong. But of course, physical strength is just one piece of the puzzle. What about your mind? What about your ability to remember, to recall, to think sharp and clear? Because the next sign we're going to talk about, your memory, might be even more powerful than your muscles. Let me ask you this. When someone brings up an old memory, maybe a family trip from 20 years ago, or the day your first grandchild was born, do you find yourself smiling, remembering the details as if it happened yesterday? Or maybe someone says, hey, remember that time we went to that little diner off Route 6? And without missing a beat, you say, yeah. And the waitress spilled the coffee on Uncle Joe's lap. That, right there, is a gift. A gift not everyone gets to keep. And if you still have it, you'd better believe it says something powerful about you. Let me tell you about Bob. Bob is 80 years old. Quiet man. Doesn't say much unless he really has something worth saying. But when his grandkids come over, he remembers every single one of their birthdays. Not because he's got some fancy calendar system. Not because he writes it all down. But because it matters to him. And somehow, his mind holds on to it. Not just birthdays. He remembers the name of the neighbor's dog. He remembers who called last Sunday. And he remembers the stories his wife told him from back when they were young, over and over again, like little treasures he refuses to lose. Now, listen, nobody's memory is perfect. Even Bob misplaces his glasses now and then. But what matters isn't perfection. It's consistency. And if you can still clearly remember names, dates, conversations, even if just most of the time, that's a sign your brain is still sharp, still active, still alive in the ways that count. Here's why that matters. Scientists call it episodic memory. That's your brain's ability to recall personal experiences, the things that make up your story. And when that kind of memory stays intact in your later years, it means your brain is keeping its plasticity. That's a fancy word for flexibility. It means your brain can still adapt, still create new connections, still function with resilience. In short, your brain is doing its job. But here's the catch. A lot of folks think forgetting names or misplacing things all the time is just part of getting older. And yes, occasional forgetfulness is normal. We all blank out sometimes. But if it becomes a pattern, if you're forgetting names you've known for years, losing track of time, or struggling to follow conversations, that could be more than just aging. It might be your brain waving a little red flag. And the earlier you notice those signs, the more you can do about them. So, here's what I recommend: use your brain. Every single day. Play memory games. Read a little, just a chapter of a book or even the newspaper. Have a deep conversation with someone who makes you think. Reminisce about your past. Share your stories. Laugh. Remember. Retell. Because just like muscles, your mind gets stronger the more you use it. And you've still got stories to tell. You've still got memories worth holding on to. And the fact that you're remembering them now? That's not just nostalgia. That's health. So, we've talked about the body. We've talked about the brain. Now let's talk about something even deeper, something that often gets overlooked, but speaks volumes about how well you're really doing. Let's talk about independence, and why being able to handle your own life, your way, might be one of the most powerful signs that you're on the path to 100. Independence. Not the kind that means climbing a mountain or living completely alone in the woods. I'm talking about the everyday stuff. Waking up and knowing what day it is. Making your bed. Cooking your own meals. Remembering which pills to take, and when. Taking care of your space. Your hygiene. Your routine. That, right there. That's real strength. That's the quiet kind of power that says, I've still got control over my life. Take Eleanor, for example. She's 79. Lives in a small house with a garden she still waters every morning. She cooks dinner for herself most nights, nothing fancy, but warm, home-cooked meals. She organizes her medication weekly, lines them up in that little pillbox, color-coded and ready to go. She sweeps her porch. Folds her clothes. Keeps track of doctor's appointments without anyone nudging her. And here's the key, it's not just that Eleanor can do these things. It's that she does do them. By choice. With pride. That's not just ability. That's autonomy. And autonomy, my friend, is one of the strongest signs of lasting health. Because when you're able to manage your own daily routine, what experts call activities of daily living, or ADLs, it tells us a lot about your overall well-being. We're talking cognitive health. Motor coordination. Balance. Memory. Decision-making. Even emotional stability. And science backs it up, those who maintain their ADLs into their late 70s and 80s tend to live longer, experience fewer hospitalizations, and have better mental health. It's like a barometer for how much gas is left in the tank. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Now here's something that might surprise you. A lot of families, with the best intentions, step in too soon. They see their loved one slowing down a little, and suddenly they're doing everything for them. Cooking. Cleaning. Organizing meds. Running errands. And yes, sometimes that help is necessary. But too much help, too soon, can actually backfire. It sends the message, you can't do this. And over time, people start to believe it. That spark of independence begins to dim. Not because they aren't capable, but because they're no longer invited to try. So, here's what you need to remember. Let yourself do what you're still able to do. Even if it takes a little longer. Even if it's not perfect. Maybe it's setting the table. Maybe it's folding laundry. Maybe it's organizing your day in a planner or preparing your own cup of tea. Because those little actions, they keep your hands busy. They keep your brain sharp. They tell your body, we're still in this. We're still needed. And if you're someone who's watching a parent, a spouse, or a friend grow older, let them try. Let them struggle a little. That's how we stay strong, through doing, not just watching. Now, we've covered physical strength. We've covered memory. And now, we've just talked about the power of independence. But let's take it one step deeper. What about how you bounce back? What about your heart? Not just physically, but emotionally. Because the next sign, it's one you won't see in the mirror. But you'll feel it when life gets tough. Let's talk about emotional resilience, and why it might just be the secret ingredient to a long, meaningful life. Resilience. Not just the ability to survive a storm, but to come out the other side with your spirit intact. To adapt. To grow. Even when life takes a sharp turn. Let me tell you about George. George is 75. He was married to his wife, Lydia, for over 50 years. They were best friends. Soulmates. She passed away last year, and it was devastating. At first, George didn't want to do much of anything. Just sat by the window in the afternoon, silent, still, lost in thought. But then something happened. He picked up a paintbrush. Not because he was trying to be an artist. Not because he had any training. But because he needed to do something with his grief. So he painted. Every day. Landscapes. Old photos. His memories with Lydia. He filled his walls with color. With life. And little by little, that spark came back. He started smiling again. Started talking more. Started reconnecting with friends. That's resilience. Not pretending things didn't hurt. Not stuffing the pain away. But moving through it. Finding a new purpose. A new rhythm. A new reason. And here's the amazing part, science backs this up. They call it psychological flexibility. It's the ability to bend without breaking. To adjust when life changes. Whether it's a health scare, a loss, or even something as simple as a new routine. And people with this trait? They tend to have lower inflammation levels, healthier hearts, stronger immune systems, and yes, they live longer. Why? Because stress, if it sticks around too long, wears the body down. But when you can face it, feel it, and move through it, you heal faster. You recover stronger. You keep going. Now, there's a big misconception out there. People think older adults are set in their ways. They say, "Oh, that's just how she is," or, "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." But that's just not true. Adaptability is not about age. It's about mindset. And I've met people in their 80s who are more emotionally flexible than folks half their age. You know what it looks like? It's saying, "Okay, this wasn't the plan, but I'll figure it out." It's learning how to use a new phone. Trying a new hobby. Reaching out after a disagreement instead of letting bitterness grow. Or even just saying, "Today was hard. But tomorrow is a new day." And the good news? Emotional resilience can be built, at any age. Try journaling. Just 5 minutes a day to get your thoughts out. Try deep breathing or simple meditation. Sit still, listen to music, let your mind slow down. Or talk to someone, truly talk. About what you're feeling, what you're facing, what's weighing on your heart. Because when you process your emotions, instead of burying them, you make space for healing. You make room for peace. So, if you've been through loss, if life has thrown you a few curveballs, and you're still here, still standing, still trying, that's a sign. A big one. It means your emotional core is strong. It means your heart, your true heart, is still open. And that, more than anything, is a powerful predictor of longevity. Now, let's move on to something that might surprise you. It's not about your muscles or your memory. Not even about your mindset. It's about your relationships. Because your ability to stay connected, to people, to purpose, to community, might just be the most underestimated sign that you're built for a long and meaningful life. Let me tell you about Clara. Clara is 82 years old, and every Friday afternoon, without fail, her living room fills up with laughter, the scent of fresh coffee, and the sound of stories shared between friends. She runs a book club, just a handful of women her age. They read mystery novels, memoirs, even the occasional romance. But here's the thing. It's not about the books. It's the connection. It's that warm hug when someone walks through the door. It's catching up on who's had grandkids visit, whose knee's acting up, or what the doctor said. It's sharing life, together. Clara says it keeps her young. And she's right. Because staying socially connected isn't just nice. It's vital. Here's the science behind it. Studies show that social isolation, the kind that creeps in when visits stop, phones go silent, and days blend together in quiet, increases the risk of early death by up to 29%. Think about that. It's not a small effect. It's right up there with smoking, obesity, and lack of exercise. Why? Because loneliness isn't just emotional, it's physical. It triggers stress hormones, raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system. And over time, it can shrink the brain, dull the spirit, and wear you down. But the opposite is just as powerful. When you're connected, when you have regular interactions, even small ones, your body releases good chemicals like oxytocin and serotonin. Your mind stays sharper. Your mood lifts. And most importantly, your will to live stays strong. Yet there's a common misunderstanding out there. Some people believe solitude is peaceful aging. They say, I'm fine on my own. Or, I don't want to bother anyone. But here's what I'll say, gently but truthfully. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude can be beautiful, it's chosen. It's peaceful. But isolation? That's when the silence isn't your choice. When days go by without a real conversation. When you start to feel invisible. And that can quietly steal your health. The good news? It doesn't take grand gestures to stay connected. Start with one phone call a week. Say yes to that community center invite. Join a local group, maybe a walking club, a choir, a gardening circle. Or just meet a friend for tea once in a while. Even a quick chat with the cashier, a neighbor, or a grandchild over video call can make a world of difference. Because connection doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real. If you still crave connection, if you still smile when someone says your name, if you still light up when a friend remembers your birthday, that's a sign. A big one. It means your heart is still open. Your spirit is still curious. And your life, no matter what age, still holds space for joy. So, what does it all mean? What if you're 65, 70, or 80, and you can still do these things? What does it really say about you? Let's bring it all together. You know, sometimes the hardest part of aging well is not the aches or the slower mornings, it's the quiet. It's watching friends your age slow down, while you're still up with the sunrise, still walking a mile, still remembering the names and faces, still hosting dinner, still choosing to smile, even when the world gets quieter. That can feel lonely. Even confusing. You might wonder, why am I still going strong while others are struggling? Is something wrong with me for still feeling alive, engaged, even happy? Let me say this, clearly and with love, no. Nothing is wrong. In fact, everything is right. Your strength, your sharp memory, your steady hands, your ability to laugh, to adapt, to care, it's not just luck. It's a testament to how you've lived. To the choices you made years ago, the walks you took, the meals you cooked, the books you read, the people you forgave, the storms you weathered. It all adds up. See, we often celebrate youth for its energy, but we forget to celebrate aging for its resilience. If you're still doing these things, if your days are filled with movement, with moments of clarity, with purpose, with people, that's something to celebrate. Not quietly. Not with guilt. But boldly. And if, as you're listening, you're thinking, well, I'm not doing all of these things anymore. Let me stop you right there. Because it's never too late. Never too late to start taking small walks again. Never too late to call an old friend. Never too late to challenge your memory with a puzzle, to try something new, to pick up a hobby, to live like you mean it. You don't need to do it all at once. Just start with one small habit today. One little shift toward vitality. Because living to 100? It isn't about being perfect. It's not about spotless diets or marathon medals. It's about being consistent. It's about staying engaged, in life, in love, in laughter. It's about staying connected. To others, to yourself, to your purpose. It's about hope. And hope, my friend, is still yours to carry. You've come so far. And believe me, you're not done yet. You've got this. So, let's take a breath, and just soak in everything we've uncovered today. If you can still walk a mile without help, if your mind can still hold on to names, dates, and conversations, if you're managing your own daily routines with grace, if you've learned how to bend without breaking when life gets tough, and if you still crave connection, still show up for friends, for family, or even just a quick chat at the store. You might just be walking the path to 100. And not just any 100. But a vibrant, meaningful, awake kind of 100. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these signs spoke to you the most? Do you see them in yourself, or maybe in someone you love? Maybe your dad, who still fixes things around the house. Maybe your neighbor, who never misses Sunday service. Maybe it's you. Quietly doing what others thought you wouldn't still be doing at your age. Let's celebrate that. Scroll down and share in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else who needs it today. Just type a little something like, I still walk every morning. Or, my mom's 84 and sharp as ever. Let's fill that comment section with reminders that aging isn't about fading, it's about evolving. And hey, if this video gave you even a spark of hope, or made you smile and think, yeah, I'm doing okay, go ahead and tap that like button. And subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide because this is what we do here, we talk about aging not as an ending, but as a powerful, beautiful chapter of life. Full of strength. Full of learning. Full of you. Thank you for spending this time with me. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here, and I'm truly grateful. So, remember this, friend. Every single day is a gift. Every step, every memory, every cup of tea with someone you care about. It matters. Keep moving. Keep smiling. And I'll see you in the next video.